Welcome to Priceless Takes.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 18 of Priceless Takes. I am your host, Luka Price, and we are talking NBA today. We have talked about football for the past few weeks, being in the middle of the playoffs, but the Super Bowl isn't until next weekend, so we got some hoops talk for you today. Welcome back to my favorite guests. I can't say that, but my two favorite guests on the show, Oscar Hardcastle, Tyson McMullen. Thank you for being back here again. How are you guys doing today?
Very well.
Thank you.
Very well. Keen
Look,
to be here.
we have a lot to talk about. We got Kyrie Irving to talk about. We got All-Stars to talk about. We got LeBron and some Lakers to talk about. We have a packed show. But we're going to get right into it because there has been a lot of drama recently. Yesterday was technically supposed to be Michael Jordan Day for those in the States who write their dates incorrectly, as it was the 2nd of the 3rd of 2023. But someone called Kyrie Irving decided to spoil that, absolutely shocking the NBA world with a trade request from the Brooklyn Nets. Now, there is a bit of confusion as to why, but from what has been reported, Kyrie Irving and his representatives were talking to the Nets, negotiating about a potential contract extension. Brooklyn, largely surrounding the GM Sean Marks and owner Joe Tsai, were willing to give Irving a max contract extension on the condition that Brooklyn won the NBA championship. Kyrie and his camp really did not like this, and they stopped negotiating, requested a trade. Everyone in the organization was surprised, including Kevin Durant, and it seems like he has been blindsided in all of this, which is another very interesting note because they came together as friends to the franchise. Look, Kyrie Irving, it is a mystery of what trade value he actually has right now due to the amount of drama he has caused in Brooklyn. But regardless of that, he is an all-star starter this year for the Eastern Conference. 8 times in his career he's been an all-star, averaging 27, 5, and 5 on the season. Now, the odds makers have the Lakers, Mavericks, and Suns as the 3 favorites to land Kyrie. The Heat and the Clippers are on the outskirts. There are other teams that are being talked about. Look, I'm going to ask you first, Tyson, because the Lakers are at the top of this list. And personally, I think there is absolutely no way the Lakers trade for Kyrie Irving because what are they going to offer him? Is Kevin Durant going to want Russell Westbrook back? I highly doubt it. I don't know what else they can offer because the way the salaries are going to have to match, Russell Westbrook is going to have to be in a Kyrie Irving deal unless they can wedge some 3-way trade together. But I don't think many people are going to want Westbrook without some compensation. So where do you think Kyrie will get traded? Tyson, I'll start with you.
Look, it's too up in the air at the moment because a while ago the Lakers did offer a trade. It was Westbrook, but the Nets did want the 2 first-round picks. So if there was a potential deal, that's what the Lakers would have to do. But I guess they would add maybe, you have to add someone else. Yeah. They'd have to add another player to that, obviously, but I do not think at this time it's a good enough, it doesn't suit it well. It doesn't suit this, the
the
scenario.
reports out of the Lakers camp have been that the Lakers would be unwilling to part ways with Austin Reeves or Max Christie. We saw a similar thing a couple of years ago when there was. Look, I'm asking the same questions as you, Oscar, because we saw a couple of years ago where they didn't want to part ways with Talon Horton-Tucker to get Kyle Lowry, and they eventually ended up trading Talon Horton-Tucker this past offseason for Patrick Beverley. So I think that would be a huge mistake from the Lakers by not offering up Austin Reeves or Max Christie. I think if Kyrie Irving went to the Lakers, he would sign an extension there. But Oscar, do you think he will go to the Lakers? And if not, where do you think he should go as a trade partner?
There's no chance he's going to the Lakers. I just think that it just doesn't work. I don't think Russell and Kevin won't want Russell. I like a Heat trade. I do like a Heat trade. That's a very interesting one. The Kyrie and the Heat could be cool with Jimmy. Get rid of Kyle Lowry. Yeah, I do like a Heat trade. Mavericks also would be very cool. It'd just be a cool team, I think, to watch.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of drama surrounding this. I think the thing is that would scare teams away from Kyrie Irving is that it seems from past reports that he would really only sign an extension with the Lakers if he was traded there. So if he was traded to the Mavericks or the Heat or any of these other teams, it's still up in the air whether he would sign an extension, which makes things difficult because Kyrie also said in the report he might leave in free agency, and that's not going to be good for Brooklyn unless they can facilitate a sign and trade. But I am going to run some trades by you guys. I have been working, in the lab, cooking up some trades in the trade machine. Oscar, you talked about it. I'm going to start with the Heat as my first trade partner, which I think is the most realistic. So the trade I have here is the Miami Heat get Kyrie Irving, Seth Curry, and Royce O'Neal, and the Nets would get Kyle Lowry, Oladipo, Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks in the future. Look, I don't know. What do you guys think about that trade to begin with?
I don't think that's going to happen.
I highly doubt that would happen.
There's too many pieces. The Heat.
The Heat's given up too much.
I don't think the Heat's given up that many players.
Well, I mean, when they get back
It's too
Seth Curry
first
and Royce O'Neal, I think it's the like to like. But I think, Tyson, you bring up the good point is because of Kyrie Irving's non-committal, they don't know if he's going to commit. I don't know if he's going to be able. I don't know if they're going to give up picks, which is why I don't know. I really don't know. The other trade, I have 2 more I want to run by you guys. And Oscar, I was talking to him off camera, and he kind of actually ruined my surprise because I wanted to see what he thought about this. But I thought that the Bulls would be a great trade partner potentially because they've had a lackluster start to the season. And who are you going to trade? Are you going to trade Levine? Are you going to trade DeMar? I've gone with the Nets receiving Zach LaVine and a second-round pick and Kyrie going to the Bulls. That is the trade part. I want to see Oscar. I don't know. I think you seem to be happy with that trade. But the thing...
I don't love Kyrie. He's a great player, obviously. Fantastic. He's just such a liability, and he's not going to commit to the Bulls. And so I don't love Kyrie, but him on the team, I think would make us better. So, and Zach wants to go anyway. He wants to go to LA, but, New York might have to do for him. So
yeah, look, I don't know. The other thing is if you're the Bulls, I don't know, do you surround a package around young players you guys have in some draft picks? I don't know. You guys got Kobe White, Dosumnu, Patrick Williams, Lonzo Ball, who's injured. So, I mean, I don't think the Nets are really going to go for those guys. I think if you are the Bulls, it's going to have to be probably Zach LaVine or DeMar. Zach LaVine does have 5 years on his deal, though. DeMar only has 2. Kyrie obviously has 1. Tyson, how would you feel about a Kyrie to the Bulls trade? Do you think that could make them a contender in the Eastern Conference?
That's a big call.
Yeah, look, honestly, at this point, probably not. I don't think. Because I would say, well, what do you think about Kyrie's and Zach LaVine's scoring ability? What do you think of both of theirs?
Well, look,
I think pretty similar?
I think that Kyrie's a better playmaker than Zach LaVine, and I think he's a better scorer, and he's a more consistent scorer too. The other thing I look at is DeMar DeRozan arguably is the most, according to the stat, he leads the NBA in clutch points this season. He's second in the NBA in clutch baskets. He's first in clutch free throws made and attempted. He's 93% from the free throw line in the clutch. So he has been performing in late games. And if there's one thing we know about Kyrie Irving is he also tends to perform really well in close games. So I think that could add a different sort of edge to this team. But I also think if Lonzo Ball was able to come back healthy, Kyrie Irving could operate more as a 2 guard like he did when James Harden was in Brooklyn and they were starting to look really good. Oscar's rolling his eyes at me because we have absolutely... Yeah, go on.
I don't think Lonzo's coming back.
That's what's meant to...
He said 2 days ago that his knee is still hurting.
Yeah, the report with Lonzo is that he doesn't know why his knee's hurting. The Bulls don't know why his knee's hurting. Something is seriously wrong. But
We're
In
spending $1 million
Dreamland,
on this guy.
in Dreamland, if Lonzo Ball comes back healthy, I think this could be a storm. But this isn't my favorite trade, and this is my favorite trade ultimately. And there's a bit of elements. There's a three-way trade, and you
Is
guys
it a
might
Suns
laugh at me.
trade? Is this a Suns
You
trade?
guys might laugh at me, but I'm still going to run it by you. So, Tyson, yes, you are correct. The Suns would get Kyrie Irving and Marcus Morris Sr. The Los Angeles Clippers would get Chris Paul and Royce O'Neal. And the Nets would get Kennard, Mikal Bridges, and Cameron Johnson, and a bunch of first-round picks and second-round picks. Because I think the Suns and Clippers would be willing to part ways with picks, unlike the Heat. Personally, look, as an objective analyst, I think this is a great trade. No. I think the majority would be coming from the Suns because I think Kyrie Irving is a higher trade value than Chris Paul. So I think the majority of the picks are going to come from the Suns. I think the Clippers could potentially offer more players in the trade. They have some good young players. There's some other players I didn't put. But look, Clippers right now need a floor general. We saw the other night, they absolutely choked their guts out against Milwaukee. And I hate to say this, but it's not the first time we've seen something like this happen. You know, we all know what happened in the bubble, Choke City. It wasn't good. And I think...
every season, isn't it?
Well, look, you could make that case, but if Kawhi didn't get injured courtesy of Joe Ingles, I think we could have seen something brewing because Paul George put them on his
the
back.
team as well.
That's true, but I think this is a different culture that the Clippers have now, and I think if they get Chris Paul, it could put them over the top. We saw they tried with Rondo in the bubble season. That didn't really work out well. And the Clippers, the other name they're hearing is Fred VanVleet. I don't think he's going to be a good fit. He's not. He's a liability defensively. Chris Paul, I still think, has a lot to give. And Fred VanVleet's more of a scoring person. I think you only need Kawhi and Paul George to score in the clutch. You don't need Chris Paul to score. You need him to command the offense. And I think a Kyrie Irving, Devin Booker backcourt would be nasty if they both stayed healthy, which is the big if. It would be an extremely exciting backcourt. And I think the Suns, for the most part, are a pretty stable franchise. You know, Monty Williams is a great coach. The Suns have been to the finals, so they have a winning culture there. And I think Kyrie could like it potentially. But look, all I know is this is just another twist in the Kyrie Irving drama. And I don't know. But I will get one-word answers from you. If Kyrie Irving is traded before Thursday's trade deadline, what team will he be on? Oscar, I'll ask you first.
I think he'll be on the... I'm going to say the Heat.
Tyson?
Oh, bro, this is really... I really don't know.
It's just so up in the air. You don't know.
Yeah.
Give me an answer.
I'd have to go probably Heat as well,
You have to go Heat.
being honest.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna go Suns just because I want to see the Clippers get Chris Paul, but also I think that this is actually a realistic trade. I think this is realistic, personally. You know, ladies and gentlemen, look, you heard it here first. If this 3-team trade gets pulled off, I expect this video clip that I am going to post to absolutely blow up all over the internet.
Going on a house of highlights.
If this happens, it better go on House of Highlights because
The Clippers GM is watching this right now and being like, "That's the trade."
Honestly, if this happens, they should hire me as the GM.
What happens if Chris Paul goes to the Clippers and then magically Blake Griffin and DeAndre sign?
No, that's not happening. I don't want that to happen. That's not happening. No.
Just magically make their way back there.
Lob City.
There is no chance. There is no chance. But we will switch gears now. We will talk about the All-Star teams that were released. And
I can't believe this.
there are some very big question marks. Some new All-Stars to the mix, some old All-Stars to the mix. And as always, we have a full team of snubs. Look, starting with the Western Conference All-Stars, the starters for these guys, we have Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, LeBron, Zion, and Jokic. On the Eastern side, we have Kyrie, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, and Giannis. So then we get to the reserves. For the West, we have Paul George, John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., DeMontis Sabonis, Lowry Market, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Damian Lillard. On the East, we have... Sorry, what am I looking at? Here we go. On the East, we have Embiid, Bam Adebayo, DeMar DeRozan, Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, and Julius Randle. Look, notable snubs from each conference. The first names that come to my mind, De'Aaron Fox, James Harden, Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, even someone like Anthony Edwards. Oscar, I'm going to start with you first. Who do you think out of all of these guys to not make the All-Star team was the biggest All-Star snub?
Okay, can I say two?
You can say two. That's fine. You can say two.
I think equally James Harden and Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Because the reason I'm saying Anthony Davis, I know he didn't play a lot, but Jaren Jackson Jr. played one more game than him and is an All-Star. And Anthony was born better than Jaren Jackson Jr. And James Harden I just can't believe he's not there. He's not an All-Star at all. It's crazy to me. Over some of these bums.
Yeah, Holiday, Halliburton. Who I think's had a really good season. I would take.
It pains me to say, but DeRozan as well.
DeRozan just a bit, yeah.
James Harden over DeRozan. Pains me to say, but I can't believe it.
I don't know. I think I definitely have DeRozan ahead of Halliburton and Holiday for sure. So I think DeRozan deserves to be an All-Star. But
me too.
James,
I just think that James should be there.
I think the thing that's hurt James is the injury. That's what really hurt him. But when you look at some of these other players, I don't think. And I know, and Philadelphia's second in the Eastern Conference right now, which is something we can't overlook. That was something we talked about in our last episode about Joel Embiid and how he's shaping up to be not only an MVP candidate.
Who predicted that?
Someone on this show did predict that. He might be sitting across from me, but Embiid wasn't even a starter in the Eastern Conference, and now he's second. Yeah, and now he's second in MVP. Now, there we go. Please, go on a rant. I want to hear it.
That is my third. So the NBA recognized him as the second best player in the league because he's second in MVP voting, and he's not a starter. And that's the same thing with James. He's seventh in MVP voting. So they recognise him as the seventh best player playing right now, and he's not in the All-Star game. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who's voting.
Yeah.
I don't know who's voting.
Tyson, I will ask you, who do you think out of these guys was your biggest All-Star snub?
Well, besides those two, those are I'd say those were givens. I was going to say De'Aaron Fox and Pascal. I do like Pascal this year. He was going crazy.
I think De'Aaron was a big snub as well.
De'Aaron definitely a big snub. He's very clutch in the fourth quarter. I've seen a few games.
Look, like we were talking about DeRozan before, De'Aaron Fox leads the NBA in clutch percentage and clutch baskets made. So, look, who would you take off to put De'Aaron Fox on there?
Oh, I don't think Jaren Jackson deserves to be there. And then next I'd probably go Paul George.
Yeah, Paul George. What?
Yeah, look, unfortunately, similar to how Oscar said he would take James Harden on and put DeRozan off, I unfortunately have to have a confession of my own. There is absolutely no There is no way Paul George should be there over De'Aaron Fox. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I saw Paul George, and I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, he could be an All-Star. And then I saw De'Aaron Fox not on there, and I'm like, oh, right. Just when you look at the stats, De'Aaron Fox he's better in points per game, 24 to 23. Paul George is beating him by about a rebound and a half. De'Aaron Fox has more assists. De'Aaron Fox is better field goal percentage. He's better at free throw percentage. And then when you look at the record, the NBA is so all about wins and record. The Kings are third in the Western Conference right now. They're 29 and 22. And the Clippers are 29 and 26. The Kings are 2.5 games better than the Clippers are, and they're putting Paul George on there and not De'Aaron Fox. And personally, I think it's just the ultimate disrespect, because clearly they've just seen Sabonis get traded there, and the Kings go up, and they're like, oh, well, Sabonis is like the real reason that the Kings are doing so well. And they're just like saying to De'Aaron Fox, like, sorry. I'm like, I don't understand it. And look, sometimes even though I'm a Clippers,
Jackson Jr. and All-Star.
look, I really don't. I don't know. It's a great question. It is a great question.
16 points, 7 rebounds.
I mean, yeah, I guess they give him the 3.5 blocks a game, but we heard the other day that the Grizzlies scorers might be inflating his stats at home.
Yeah.
So hearing that, how am I supposed to believe that his blocks and rebounds are what they are when half of the games that he's been played are just could be inflated? Like, I think there's just absolutely no consistency with these All-Star games. But I think Anthony Davis is probably going to end up getting put in, because Zion, I don't think, is going to be back. He's not going to be healthy for the game. So Anthony Davis will probably get put in. We'll probably see maybe Jimmy, but who starts?
Zion.
I don't know.
Sabonis?
I'd say yes, Sabonis, I guess. I don't know.
I guess we don't know.
I really don't
teams
know.
yet.
We don't know the teams. I don't know. Maybe Jaren Jackson Jr. should just start. Maybe he'll win All-Star MVP. I don't know. Maybe he'll just go for 50.
What if he gets like 10, 15 blocks in the game?
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they put him in as an All-Star, because they know he's just going to go
The way the
absolutely
All-Star
off an
game's
All-Star.
played, he probably will. The way the All-Star game's played, he probably will.
He probably will.
Such a joke of a
just,
game now.
I don't know. Even someone like, there's also someone I look at like Jalen Brunson, who I think could also be an All-Star ahead of Drew Holiday, because
Tyson loves Jalen Brunson.
what's wrong with Jalen Brunson?
Nothing at all.
No, he was playing against the Lakers and he just drove every time and just
He
made
just
buckets.
he just did the most basic stuff against the Lakers. He's very good, but we couldn't defend it.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I watched the man play live, and he was pretty incredible. He's done wonders for this New York Knicks
He's very
team.
good.
Randall
good.
was an All-Star. I think it's actually kind of the opposite of the Kings situation, because Sabonis got traded and then they made him an All-Star, and then De'Aaron Fox, who's been there, got left out. But then Randall, who's been there, got made an All-Star, and Jalen Brunson, who was the big free agents addition, he got left off. So I don't know. Randall has been balling, but I think he could have made Brunson an All-Star too. I don't know if you guys paid attention, but on the TNT live when they announced the All-Star team, they didn't even have footage for Drew Holiday. So even they were surprised that he was an All-Star. Like, they didn't even have any footage to show of Drew Holiday.
Wow.
It's like, I just don't know. Everyone was
He's
just
good,
surprised.
but he's not that good.
Yeah.
You could have left him off the team and then he wouldn't have been a snub.
Exactly. That's what I mean. No one really would have batted an eye. Exactly. No one would have cared. So, look, we'll see what happens. But we are going to keep moving on to a very interesting topic. We were talking about
Bucks
the
fans.
Lakers potentially acquiring Kyrie Irving earlier in the show. But another Laker who's always in the headlines, but especially as of late, is one LeBron James. He is only 63 points from capturing the NBA's all-time leading scoring title over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's held the record for 39 years, which is a very long time. They're playing the New Orleans Pelicans right now, and he's only got 15 points the last time we checked. So he definitely won't be going off for 63 tonight unless he can conjure something special in the fourth quarter. Which
What's he on there?
21.
He's on 21 right now. Thank you for the live updates, Tyson. But they played tonight on the road. They play at home against the Thunder on Tuesday, home against the Bucks on Thursday. Look, this is a great accomplishment. LeBron talked earlier in the day about the accomplishment and how he compares it to all the great records in baseball and football. But Tyson, as a Lakers fan and LeBron supporter, what do you think this record means for LeBron and his legacy.
It means a lot, actually. It's enough to make a case, but for me personally, may not be strong enough to make the case for the greatest of all time. I mean, he's up there. You can definitely argue that
He's up there.
this
He's up there. I think we can all agree on that.
no, but I'm saying if he does, like obviously when he overtakes Kareem, the argument could be made that he is the GOAT. He will. But I'm saying the argument could be made. It's a lot closer now, but it's all just down to opinions in the end. But
Oscar, your thoughts on LeBron's legacy when he captures this record?
Well, this is a quote from LeBron. He doesn't, not quote, but paraphrasing a bit. He wants to play with his kid. That's his dream. So I think it means a lot to him, obviously. But does it mean he's the GOAT? I mean, a lot of three-pointers these days. I don't think that the record's going to last 39 more years in my eyes. I think someone's going to overtake it in the future, but I don't know when. But I don't think it's going to last 39 years.
Really? See, I would disagree. I think it. I think
it's going to stay for a while. He's going to keep playing for a while.
No, but when you think about it, the amount of three-pointers people shoot these days is unbelievable.
But the thing is,
it
like,
just inflates. You got Kareem didn't shoot a three.
But the thing is, like, if there was to be that many threes, that player's going to have to averaging above like 22 for over 20 years or something. He's going to have to have insane
obviously
longevity for the long run. But
I think it's going to be quicker than 39. I think we'll see it happen in 20, 30
I
years.
don't think so. I don't see anyone else.
I'm assuming you think, Oscar, that it's going to be someone else who isn't drafted right now and is going to come into the league. You don't see anyone right now in the league taking it?
Well, I don't know what points everybody are on, but there's look at Luka Doncic putting up points. I don't know how old Luka Doncic is, but you put him putting up crazy numbers each night. You put Giannis putting up crazy numbers each night. These guys are putting up crazy amount of points so quickly, so early in their careers. So it just looks like that people will be able to score that amount of points in the near future.
Yeah, look, I was reading an article.
Not taking anything away from LeBron, I think it's unbelievable.
Obviously, it's unbelievable. I was reading an article today on Bleacher Report that was written in 2011, and it said the title of the article was Top 10 Most Likely People to Break Kareem's Scoring Record. And just for some perspective on how the NBA has absolutely no idea on who could potentially break the scoring record in the future and why I think that this record will last a long time. Number 9 on this list was Brook Lopez, guys. Brook Lopez was number 9 on this list. And
he's not out of it yet.
Brook was balling in 2011. He was balling. 20 points a night.
But this is the point that I'm making, is people might be balling for 3, 4, 5, 6 years on an incredible pace, but to actually do it is a much harder task. Number 8 on this list, and this might be even more laughable than Brook Lopez, was Monte Ellis was at number 8 on this list.
Okay, let's really
to
talk
break
about
the scoring
2011
record.
basketball is crazy.
And this is what I'm saying. Obviously, LeBron was number 1. Number 7 on this list was my boy Blake Griffin to catch Kareem. And this is Bleacher Report. This is a accredited sports outlet. This isn't just some blog. Bleacher Report has some. I think, in my opinion, they have some sort of idea. Look, then towards the end of it, it starts getting a bit more realistic. But I know Derrick Rose was in there. Obviously, you could have made a case. Maybe he could get up there, but his injuries obviously stopped that. 2011 was prime D Rose time. So you can see why the hype was there. But look, LeBron was number one. And the article in I read, it said...
Who was number two?
Number two...
KD.
Number two was KD. And number three was Kobe during his time. That was number three. So the article here says, in 2011, if he scores 2,150 points for the next 10 years, he will break the record. And that was around averaging 26 points per game a season. So not only did he have to average that for the next 10 years, obviously he had an injury, he had a season where he was injured, but then the seasons before 2011, from 2004, where he averaged all those points. I think this is going to be something where eventually it's probably going to get broken, but I don't think there's going to be someone as good as LeBron who's going to come and break this record. Not even Jordan, who I consider the GOAT. I don't know. I'm assuming you guys, I don't know. We'll talk about it in a second, but he's only fifth. He's fifth on this list, and he's the greatest to ever do it. So for someone to actually eclipse his scoring record, I think is a lot harder than it's going to be. I think it takes a lot. One, you need to be healthy, okay? Because we see how many...
It's the only thing, though.
But you have
to average... I think people will be able to score 20... I think people average 26 points for the rest of their career.
For 20 straight years. For 20 straight years.
I think it could happen.
I don't see any... Yeah.
No, I think, Oscar, you're being caught up in LeBron's greatness and thinking that what he's doing is just some guy the NBA can do.
I'm going to say it's difficult, obviously, but someone will do it.
If they're going to have to do it faster...
The way the game's played today, someone will do it.
If someone's going to be doing it faster, they're going to be like 2018 James Harden averaging 36 a game. I'm sorry. They're going to have to be averaging...
I just don't think it'll be 39 years. I think there'll be someone in our lifetime that'll do it.
Well,
maybe
listen, look.
60-odd years.
Only 6 players have held the record all time. And then we had... It was mainly in the 60s, and no one in the 60s held the record for more than 6 years. Then we have Wilt Chamberlain. He held the record for 18 years. Then Kareem overtook him and held it for 39. So the trend is going upwards, that from 6 to 18 to 39, that it's going to take a long time. It will be interesting to see. I hope it's in our lifetime. That would be great. But for it to be in our lifetime, we're going to be probably at least 40 years old when that happens. So when you think about it like that, who knows how it's really going to pan out?
Yeah, I think longevity is the main thing.
Look, longevity is the main thing. I hope LeBron gets to play with his son, but does it make him the GOAT? No, I don't think it does either. Look, we can
anyone can take it from Michael Jordan.
You don't think anyone can? I think it is too. I think it is too. We can get into a deep dive later, but we will move on to something that is rather a more interesting topic, is what is going on with all these fights we are seeing. Oh, yeah. It is
so random.
An absolute madness out there. I don't know if the NBA, Commissioner Silver's trying to get some more views, get the ratings up, but we are just seeing it night after night. It's also becoming commonplace. We had last night Austin Rivers and Mo Bamba.
That was the most random fight. That was the most random. Mo Bamba. So random.
When Mo Bamba was on the bench, he wasn't even on the court when it happened. Yeah. And then Austin Rivers was calling shots on Instagram saying that people only know Mo Bamba from an old rap song, not from hoops. Yeah, then funny. The other night, Thursday night, we had Dylan Brooks and Donovan Mitchell get into it, that was just a cheap shot from Brooks. He was suspended 1 game from the NBA.
Was he?
I think he got off light, personally.
Yeah,
After what happened in the playoffs with Gary Payton Jr., obviously it wasn't really a fight, but still dirty play. He struck Donovan Mitchell in the midsection, and then D. Mitch threw a ball at him. another Dylan Brooks moment, but we can also group in T. Morant, Jar's dad, and the entire Grizzlies team were having beef with Shannon Sharp 2 weeks ago at a Lakers game. So we're just seeing absolute madness in the NBA right now. But I want to know if, one, the NBA should be harsher on the players, and two, if you think the fights are good for entertainment or if they're bad press for the league. Oscar, I'll start with you first.
Well, all the greats of the game call this NBA, soft, this, that, and the other. There's, the soft league. I think the fights are good. We look at games like hockey, like ice hockey and stuff. They allow it. They love it. They only get 5-minute bin, and then they're back on. So yeah. I think it's obviously not great press, but I think it adds another entertainment factor. I like it. I like showing a bit of toughness out there. It's getting heated, and that's what you want, I think.
Tyson, your thoughts?
Look, I think it's great entertainment up until someone actually gets injured. As long as that doesn't happen, it's great entertainment. But also, it's bad press for people like Dylan Brooks because no one likes it. Yeah, it creates a bad reputation for him. He's got no fan base. He's now a villain character in the plot.
I think they can help your career if you have that villain arc. Because when your career is like Dylan Brooks, not really going anywhere, adding that villain arc, I think, can help with viewership and sponsors and.
But if someone really wants to go for views, go for it. But if someone wants to go for a championship, then he's just not for it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, listen, I don't think it's just Dylan Brooks who's the villain. I think the Memphis Grizzlies are trying to make themselves the villain in the NBA right now. I think we need something like that. Look, but the thing is, they don't really know what they're doing. Ja Morant came out after the game and said that they don't beef with anyone. And I'm thinking, yes, you do. You called out the Warriors. You called out everyone. You called Ja Morant earlier in the month, called the Grizzlies a dynasty, and then obviously they went on that huge losing streak and come back to earth. So I think the Grizzlies, if they can embrace the villain role, they have a great team, and I think they could get somewhere potentially. But I think that, like Tyson said, as long as we don't have a Malice in the Palace 2.0, I think it's great for the league. We saw there was an incident a couple of weeks ago where Killian Hayes knocked out Mo Wagner out cold in Detroit. Yeah. And that happened. And I remember hearing over the PA announcer was saying, everyone, get in your seats, stay in your seats, not wanting the fans to come out. But I think it's great for viewership. And it's something that'll make news, not only in America, but also make news everywhere. I'm sure you guys heard about it in Australia, where you guys are there. I'm sure you guys heard about it. I'm sure people in Europe would have heard about it. So I think it's great. It adds a little edge. I think that, I think especially the higher quality of the player, the more interesting it is. I was very surprised when Donovan Mitchell got into it because he's turning himself into one of the premier players in the league. But yeah, look, I think it's great. I'm all for it as long as no one gets hurt, because the thing is, unlike hockey and unlike football, the fans are right there. And that's the only problem, is if it gets into the stands is when something could happen. Because in hockey, it's just you and the other guy in the ice rink. Everyone's cheering on from the outside, but no one's actually there and could actually escalate it, really. So I think that's the only worry.
The only issue I've got with it is that, say, someone like Donovan Mitchell got suspended and people pay all this money to come and watch NBA games and then he gets suspended for it. But that's the only problem I've got with it. So,
yeah, look, one thing's for certain, I think that this season has been very entertaining. We've seen everyone dropping these massive games, 50, 60, 70 points from Donovan Mitchell. A lot of it due to the pace, a lot of it due to adding the take foul in. So this NBA season is exciting. We have a couple of contenders which we will definitely get into on our Tuesday episode. We're going to hopefully look to have our resident Brooklyn Nets fan, Gabe, to join us to talk about the Nets and how it not only affects...
Until KD leaves.
And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how this affects KD's future at the Nets. And I know there will definitely be some fire and some strong opinions. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for listening in to Priceless Takes episode 18. It was a pleasure having you with us. Tyson, Oscar, thank you for being on here with me. I appreciate the insight. We will be back again on Tuesday. Make sure, everyone, to keep following us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Keep listening to the full episodes on Spotify. You know, we're getting some good follower engagement. Make sure you keep sharing the word. And I will see you guys soon. Oscar, Tyson, thank you for being with me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Evan.
That is all, ladies and gentlemen. Priceless Takes episode 18. I am your host, Luka Price. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.